Hello there everybody and welcome to Mapthedragon Railways, and as you can tell from seeing the cutting mat, it's time that we do another workbench project, and this one is quite simple and really effective. And what it is we're going to be turning something like this, a grizzly teak, into something that looks a bit more like this four-wheel coach, because Hornby made their teak coaches for the railroad range quite pale and very much not like what they're supposed to be prototypically. This was my test piece. I haven't done a grizzly one yet, so I'm going to do that on camera with you guys now. But here you can see a little bit of weathering on the roof. That's just a black wash, and the paint that darkens it down. It's more like a wash, as well as doing the chassis and not even get onto some wheels and interiors on the grizzly teak. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin. So our first step in this process with the grizzly teak is disassembly. And I'm not going to do all of it on camera, but basically pull the bogies out. They're just clipped in. You can see the little ends there. And then you've got clips in either end, and you'll want to squeeze them and pull the body off. But like I said, I won't do that bit on camera. And like that, it's unclipped. You've also got to be careful with these clips in the centre. Forgot to mention that, but yeah, mine didn't really need to bother about that. But yeah, so we've got a chassis that will be undergoing a bit of work, believe it or not. It will go into this lovely colour underneath the body, so yeah, that will look quite nice, and I'll do the buffer beams and that as well, but we'll get onto that later on. Next up, we've got the internals, and we've got to fish that out like so. This will go into a paint process as well. I've got hopefully enough Humbrol dark earth where this will go brown, because it's a lot of windows on this coach, but you know, it's quite obvious to see grey, and that's not very realistic, so that will undergo a full spray over. Then we got the body. We got some windows, but I think they are glued in place. But yeah, so we've got to be careful around the windows, though that shouldn't affect us at all anyway. And so we got the body, and this is where most of the transformation comes in, and most of that is thanks to this. So it's Citadel colour, and it's a shade, it's Seraphim Sepia, if I've pronounced that correctly. And basically it's more like a wash, and you just put it over the body, and after a few coats it darkens it down and makes it look a bit more like this. And yeah, it comes out so much better. So without further ado, I might as well begin. Make sure your coach body is clean when you do this. Otherwise, well, you know, you could trap any grub in it. So I've already got a generous amount. I'm just going to paint it over the whole of the body. Anywhere where it collects in grooves and that and forms quite a thick area, just use the brush and pick it back up. And that's how you do it. So you can see where it collects around the bottoms here. So I'm just taking that and carrying it on over there. Now at this stage you do not get your result straight away. It doesn't take too long to dry, and it is very, very simple, as you can see. It's just a matter of brush it on. So I'm just like picking it up in areas. Another trick to do, which I can show you later on, is to put more coats in some areas than others. This gives an effect where some are paler than others, you know, if you can work it out on there. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Try not to get the roof like I am. But if you're not happy with the result, this paint should come off with water, so it's quite good. in that regard. But yeah, just keep doing this. It'll look quite good. And like so. And basically do this on the whole body, and just wait for the first coat to dry, basically. And like I said, doesn't take long to dry, and then you've got to do a few more coats. So that's one coat done. I'm just tidying it up, and yeah, it's not a massive difference straight up. After the second coat you'll notice more of a difference, and then a third is really where you're best at. And then after that's done, you can darken a few panels, you know, darken them more than others and all that, and that's where it comes out best. So yeah, I will get back to you when I'm on to another coat. So a few spots of it is still damp. That was literally seconds ago that I ended that clip. So it does dry really quick, and it's quite a nice wash. You know, it's quite nice to use. There's this little thing in the lid that helps you dispose of any excess. And now I'm just going to do the whole process yet again. So yes, it's not a quick job where it's one coat and it's done, but it doesn't take long at all. That first one I done in an evening, and bear in mind that was a first ever try, so when you get the hang of it you are sure to speed up a little bit. So yeah, just keep coating it on like so, and it's already bringing up a difference. I think I can see a difference in this already. It's looking better, and if you get any on the roof, doesn't matter, you can just quickly wipe it off with your finger. Try not to get it on the windows, you don't really want that. Another thing about windows is you need to try and get into the windowsills, which isn't a brilliant job when you've got the glass in, you know, the glazing still in place. But I'm just going to go very carefully with the brush. And just with a steady hand and just a bit of care, you will get that result you are after. So that's windowsills around the bottom done. I focus more on the bottom than the top at this moment, because that's where you're looking down more than looking up at a coach. So it's actually better to focus and do a better job on the rims down the bottom than the top. So that's another coat done again. So I've got to leave that again for probably a couple of minutes before it dries again, and I shall show you a difference there. It's definitely improved, and yeah, I'm getting quite pleased with this. It does show results relatively quickly. Like I say, not straight away, but quite quick. So yeah, let's give that another minute or two. If you are a little bit like me and a bit impatient of waiting, even though this is nearly done and it's quite quick, you can actually slide the ends off these teak coaches, so you could get on with actually doing the ends of the coach, and just start doing a few panels on there. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Same process, so I won't show you it again. So I cut a bit ahead, and I've done the ends. They are just drying off now, and they're at the darkness I want. And the coach isn't terribly far off now. I think I'll give it one more coat and then it's done, but I shall see. So yeah, it's coming along very nice. So let's look at what I've got to do after I've done this. Well, I've got to give it a black wash just to darken it down, and I've got to clear varnish it. Then that bit is finished. Then I've got the interiors that need spray painting into, I'm going to give it dark earth, and that will give it a nice interior. Then the running plate of the chassis needs painting in a Humbrol natural wood. That's quite a nice colour. And then I need to take the wheels out of the bogies and paint the wheel faces and give them a white rim, and that will come out really nice. The centres will be natural wood, and then, like I say, white rim. So yeah, that's what I've got to do. So I'll come back once this part is all done and I need to black wash and varnish it. So here we are, I've finished applying that shade. I've darkened a few patches compared to others. I've done the other side too. You might be able to point out I've done some panels darker than others. I'd normally probably do a few more, but I'm quite happy with the result, and you can see it goes well with this little four-wheeler. So now that bit's done, we get on to trying to pick out some details. This is like stuff in the doors, little grooves and that, which really help to enhance the model's appearance, as well as it's sort of a slight weathering to it. And basically the trick with this is a black wash, which is this lovely stuff here. Now all this is a black acrylic paint mixed in with some water from the tap, and all this does is make a wash that you can get in the grooves and that, and it will dry in those grooves and leave the black marks, and it helps to highlight details. It's a very good technique if you don't have lots of money as such for buying brand new fancy coaches, and instead getting the second hand or older type coaches. You know, it's a very good method to bring out details like the Blood and Custard Mark 1s by Hornby from ages ago. Anyway, for this I've got a really fine brush that should just glide into the grooves, and anything I go over with, if I make a mess, I've got some kitchen roll that I can wipe over with. So without further ado, I think it's time we start this. So just dip in the brush into the black wash, and all I'm going to do is go down in the grooves of the doorways, any groove I see. You can see where I've gone over a bit, and that's where I just go over like that with the tissue, and already it seems to have highlighted the details out even a tiny bit. So I'll just keep doing that like so. You can see, make a bit more of a mess, and just pick up what I've messed up, and that's gone into the grooves. Now on these teaks, now they're done up, it isn't a massive difference, but it is a difference nonetheless. It helps, like I say, enhance the model a little bit more. Now I'm going to leave that one whilst I do the other. Just give it a little bit of time to set a tiny bit, as well as you know, so it dries a little bit in there a bit quicker, and now wipe away. And yeah, I think I'll do that on the others now, just as I feel it's working a little bit better for me. So you can see I went quite a lot there, and that's because I had quite a lot on the brush. I don't actually know if you can see me. No, you can't. I do apologise. I do these things and forget to look at where I am pointing the camera at. And you can just see here where I've put quite a lot on. Just wipe that down a bit, and that's all in the grooves. I'll do it up here. You can't see up here, but that's all I'm doing, is wiping it out. That's already given it quite a nice look. I'm just going to go over some panels and all that, just getting in those grooves a little bit. I'm not being terribly careful at this point. I'm just going over with a black wash, just darkening the panels. Now of course this will not stay on here, this will get wiped off in a second, but it's a nice quick way to darken your coaches and improve their overall appearance. So like so, and yeah, it looks alright. That nothing dramatic, but nothing, you know, too weak and that. So yeah, I'm happy with that side. I just need to get on and do this side, which has plenty more doors on it. So what I'll do is I'll just come back to you when it's done. Now I've done that, I've done the other side, and I've actually done the ends. Now you probably can't make it out. It's a very subtle finish once you've done all this modification to the teak, but I think it looks quite nice. I'm just wiping away here at a streak of black wash, but it's very subtle, so it doesn't matter too badly. So another wash, we're going to do the roof now. As you can see here, that's what I'm going for. Subtle, nothing, well, I wouldn't say subtle as such, more of a faint wash, something where it's maybe fresh teak, you know, it's not far gone through a thorough clean from top to bottom or something. You know, it's just where it's done a few services, and basically any of the ash and smoke and all that wonderful nasty stuff is caught onto the coach. So I'm just using a big brush here, brushing it all over the roof. Now this may seem a bit of a scary thing to do if you've never done something like this before. Now you do not have to do what I'm doing here. You could only go as far as modifying the bodies, and then that's that. But I like to do this as well, and as you can see, just getting around those ends as well, and trying to get in those grooves if it will let me. There we go. And that might look petrifying. It does for me even now, but I give that a few seconds like I already have, and I just wipe it off like so. And you wipe off as much or as little as you wish. So I'm gonna just do what I feel looks good. So to be honest, I'm quite happy with that. It's very subtle, nothing too you know, standing out too much, but it's just, you know, it's toned it down a little bit. It makes it look a lot better than what it was. So the coach body is nearly done. We just need to do one more thing to these sides and ends, and that thing involves Humbrol Clear Gloss Varnish. So yes, it's time for clear gloss varnish. Now you could probably see this roof a little bit better at this angle. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I'm going to use this medium-sized brush and this stuff, and it's got like a medicine bottle, so you've got to make sure to push down before you twist. Anyway, there's that, and I'm using a medium-sized brush, dipping it in the varnish and just gently brushing it along the body of the teak. Now you can't really go wrong with this. This varnish, all it will do is add a nice sheen to it. Also, it will protect the sepia paint, well, wash that I have put over this. As the wash does respond to water, it will come off if you rub it hard enough with water on it. So this stuff is basically gonna keep it on, and yeah, it's as simple as this, just brushing the varnish on. You can't go wrong. Simple as anything. And just do this in a ventilated area, because of course it is varnish at the end of the day. Varnish does have a smell, just like spray paints, so you want to be careful. And that is already one side done. Simple as that. Brush varnish on, leave it, I think it's 20 minutes to dry. It'll say on the bottle if you do this yourself. If you use a different type of varnish, then of course it will tell you what type of varnish to use. But I'm just going to leave that 20 minutes, and then I will do the ends and the other side. In fact, what I might do is slide out the ends like I showed you can, and then do them, but I'll do that off camera. So now that's done, the coach has quite a nice sheen to it left. So yeah, that's very nice. So on to the next stage, and I think this one will be onto this, the interior. So as you can hear, I'm shaking a can of paint. It's in a box. Now my paint can seems terribly light, so I might not even have enough stuff for this, but let's try it. Well, that has gone brown. The mist will clear, but I will do the other side off camera where you can see it's a little bit grey, and try and finish that bit off and do it off camera. Need it in a well ventilated space, so if you do this at home, make sure you do it either outside or by a big window like I am. So yeah, I think I had a good amount of luck there. I emptied the paint can then. A few little spots missed, but let's be honest, as long as the majority of it is brown, it's not going to matter. There's only a couple of patches and on the floor which you will not see, so I'm happy with that. Especially when it's all inside the coach and all together. It'll be a bit dark in there anyway. As long as you can see brown, I'm happy. So I've decided to use my medium-sized brush. That'll do the trick. I used a small one on the four-wheeler, which is just out of shot. But I'm going to use this Hornby Acrylic 110, which is natural wood, or at least it should be, because that's what I ordered. Looks about right. And I'm just going to give that bottle a shake and then do this running paint, and I'll show you that on camera once I've shook the paint. I recommend getting it in this little bottle. This is only 15 millilitres. And yes, it's got a nozzle for airbrushes and that, but with a pair of pliers you can lift this out. Now, the reason why I wouldn't get it in a tin pot is because it's the exact same volume of paint, same 15 millilitres, but it costs you more money. And I decided to go a cheaper method. So that's that there. It's all shaken. And I'm just gonna do your standard stuff and paint it on. So I'm not going to show you this whole process. I'm sure you can get the gist of it. I do the buffer beams as well. And yeah, it does come out quite nice. Right, we are so nearly there. The body is done. The running plate is and chassis is drying. And this down here, I said to you I thought I'd done it. And that's because the angle was fairly similar to what yours is now, until I had a closer look to see only mist went on that other side. So I have used that natural wood again and just went over it in here. That's just drying off in areas, and done this side of the seats. Hopefully that's good enough. I didn't bother about the ends properly because you will not see that when the coach is assembled. And now you may think everything is done, apart from you could paint the seats, but I'm not going to do that. Well, no, there's one more thing, and it involves the two bogies up there. So it's time to paint the wheels. So for this I have a new toy, a helping hand, kindly given to me by one of my family members. I'm really happy I've got this. It's a very nice bit of kit, very useful to have for a modeller. and yeah, they're very useful and good to have. Anyway, I've never used this helping hand till now. I've only got it the other day, but the aim is to just hold the wheel in like that. I'm going to hold it away and just angle it the way I want it. And visibility might not be perfect for you because I need to see it myself. So there it is for you, but of course for me it will be completely different. So the next step for me is to dry off my paintbrush, like so. I know this is off camera, and we're going for the same natural wood paint job. Then next up, I dip my paintbrush into the bottle and start painting the wheel. Of course, I have to change angle so I can see through the helping hand, but this helping hand did help me an absolute ton and was so useful to have. I can thoroughly recommend them. Here you can see I've painted the inside of the wheel. I will do this to all the other wheels as well, and then I shall add a white rim onto the wheels, which will really help tie them together. Just as I turn the helping hand, you can see the white rim is now added, and it does look very good, and I'm very glad that I had the helping hand there to sort it out. Otherwise, I probably would have struggled. It definitely does help you look and model on smaller objects. And that, ladies and gents, is the painting finished. Now off camera, I've fitted the wheels back into the bogies, and don't they look nice? Any paint that got lost I topped up. It was mostly the white. But yeah, that's the bogies done. There's different ways of assembling these. The teak coaches, I must say, are probably the most difficult coach I have had to put the wheels in and out of. It's just because the wheels flanges have to be dead straight before they actually go in, so a lot of persuading on the plastic, but we get there in the end. So that's 2 bogies, and it's time to assemble and finish off this coach. I'm really looking forward to this. So start off with, we got the chassis with the painted running plate and buffer beams. I know one side isn't as neat as the other. The top doesn't matter because that will disappear in a second. So yeah, that's that. I think actually before I fit the bogies, I'm going to fit the interiors. Now I don't think they matter what way they go round. You see, that's already covered the mess up there. Now I need to slot it back into place. I'm going to do this with it sat down, I think. Got to remember which way's the right way round. And I'm trying to remember this. I think it's this way. Does that look right to my eye? Yes, it does. And this looks like a fiddly job. But it has to be done. So I've got to try and engage the clips down in there. In fact, I've got a better idea. Let's fit the interior in place first. So that's in like that. You can see that is a definite improvement over the original. I'll show you the original in a second. Right, now that's done, I can just hopefully just clip. Yeah, clip. That is that done. This is looking so good. It always comes out best once it's finished being assembled. And now it's time to put the bogies in, which are again a push fit. It's amazing how much of this is clips. And final bogie in like so. And there we have it, a finished Grizzly teak coach, all darkened to look like a proper teak, with a light bit of weathering, and the wheels all picked out and interior painted. I am very pleased with this. First one of these Grizzly teaks I've done. Like I say, I've only done this one apart from this, but I think it's time we get it on the layout and have a little bit of a comparison. So here we go, the teak is down on the layout, and do tell me in the comments what you think. Do you think it looks good, or do you think it's a bit too light or dark? Because to be honest, teak coaches vary in places. That's why I put a bit more wash on some panels more than others. If you look at a picture of a real teak or a few of them, you'll realise the colours and the depth isn't consistent. Some look a bit more orangey and some look a bit more brown, so you can't go terribly wrong. But anyway, do give me your opinion. Of course, here is the four-wheeler I done, but we want a comparison with the teak, so I got one here. You can tell a difference now. The interior on the one that I've modified is only a subtle change, but when you compare it to one that hasn't gone through the process yet, you really do notice it. Yeah, if I just go like that, you can really notice it. I'm very pleased with that. I'm just going to move the camera's angle a bit. There you go, that's a bit of a better angle. Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I quite like that. It's always good doing one of these coaches or a couple and having a before piece, one that you haven't done, just so you can compare what they look like before and after. And very quickly, here's a shot of what the other side looks like. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, leave it a like, comment down below. What do you think of these coaches? What's your opinion on the one I done? Maybe you would improve some, maybe you've got a bit of advice for me. Do comment it down below, or even just say hello. Share this video with your friends. Sharing as caring gets the videos out there and helps spread the channel. And please do consider subscribing, it would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, I will have to go now, so I'll see you next time. Cheerio for now.